Hello and welcome to the Stampscapes Lab live, or if you're watching this on replay, thanks so much for checking it out. We have a 4x6-inch photo print here, and it is paired with a 4x6-inch piece of mirrored silver cardstock. Some call it foil, and it's going to create this really cool reflection card format, I call them. Okay, so I've tried this silhouette style of an image right here. It's a woman kind of looking out into the great beyond. I think that would look really fantastic in that situation. But the problem with silver foil, which is a non-porous surface, and trying to stamp on there with this silver, or this solid image, this case stays on ink so that it will apply and dry on that surface. It doesn't stamp on the inside. We get this kind of, it's not called fisheye. That's what they call something in the certain printing method where you're doing something on like laminates and you put the laminate over the printed area and it kind of splits because it's separating the ink. It's kind of doing that here. It's creating kind of a resist where there's like a bubble of air underneath the image, and this surface isn't absorbing any of the ink at all because it's non-porous. So that's the problem with stamping certain types of images on a very mirrored cardstock. So I'm going to try to just stamp it out on a piece of cardstock here. We'll cut it out and then we'll just apply it over the top of it. I think this lower portion down here where there's this reflection solid, it's a little bit tapered, this reflection down here. I think that'll be fine down here, and the reason why it's stamped out a little bit more solid down here is because the imagery down here is not solid. There's spaces and gaps in there because I've stippled that area in there. So I don't know, maybe that works out a little bit better than just solid form. Okay, so I'll just cut it out from here up and we'll paste it right over the top of it. I think it's a good idea to stamp that out right here just because it provides us with a base on where to apply this person right here. Okay, so if I was to stamp out this dog on this little mound of whatever, sand or something like that, right in the corner right here, this silver cardstock would just show right through this area. And again, that dog's kind of more silhouette, so I don't think it would stamp out very well. I think this is an easy cutout right here. It gets a little bit more technical right around in there because it gets small, but I think it's just in general a pretty easy cutout, and I don't mind cutting out something that's like easy like that. I don't want to do like a lot of intricate types of cutting, so if it's easy enough, I'll do it. All right. Hello, Meg. Linda, how are you? All right. So this is going to be a pretty easy card because we do, a lot of the dynamics are already established in the photo print up here and the reflection of it down below. Okay, so it's just a matter of kind of, I don't know, whatever, embellishing that type of surface with some additional forms to make it a little bit more dramatic. All right, so let's see. I stamped these out just in water-based ink. Let's heat set it a little bit because I just stamped it out. I must have had some kind of little frayed piece of paper when I cut this out because this little piece of, I don't know, whatever, fiber wrapped up in there, so that little thing shouldn't be there, but no big deal. All right, so I was looking at this. I was going to use some ink, but let's just use some colored pencils and some alcohol pens here. And I don't know, I just have a bunch of pencils that I was using for something else recently. Let's see what we can do here. Hope you're both having a nice weekend. All right, just getting a real light tone of this. I guess I'm going to make it look like, try to make it look like a little bit of sand. Not super white sand, but We'll see what we get to right here. Just a real light tinting of it. Here I dragged a piece of, I don't know, wet ink or something down here. It gave me a little bit of a streak, but no big deal. Yeah, those clouds are on my Flickr page. There's these seagulls flying right here, too. I took this photo up at a place called Mono Lake in the Eastern Sierras. It's where they do a lot of breeding. Right there, a lot of seagulls there, and their food source is all of these. I forgot what kind of flies they're called, but there's just swarms and swarms of flies. They feed on I think algae or something like that that are growing in this very salt water. And they're just swarming flies. You can go there, though, and the flies don't bother you at all. You can walk through them, and they're just a swarm around you. And it's like none of them land on you. And they're not going for you at all. They're not interested. So, but that's the seagulls. I guess to feed, they fly through them. These swarms of flies with their, the seagulls have their mouth open. They just get a nice, I don't know, whatever, a protein, meal. All right, it's a little bit of a warm tone like that. I don't like that color, but we'll just do a lot of blending with that tone. Here's a little bit of gray. All right, it's still not, kind of what I'm going after, but I just keep building, layering the color. Here's some kind of a bluish gray, so maybe that'll give it a little bit more of a neutral tone. It's kind of real warm right now, which I want. It's kind of like a base layer, but we'll kind of build this up a little bit and see how it goes. Okay. Now this isn't like the sequencing, probably that's ideal for it, but I'm going to use, well, let's see, let's heat set that a little bit. And then let's bring in some black here. I don't know if this black's going to dry very quickly on top of this sealed off, waxy, now alcohol coated surface here, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, it seems like it's applying down there a little bit, right? I guess it's kind of staining the surface a little bit. Usually alcohol inks, dye-based inks work by staining the surface, meaning it has to kind of penetrate the surface and stain the surface and a little bit of pulp probably of the paper. We're going to try to get the corner pretty stained, and I'm going to cut this one out and it'll go in the corner of the silver cardstock. And the paper is it's resisting my application a little bit because, again, I sealed off the surface quite a bit. I guess there's still some pores between some of that media that was applied. You can use other types of media too, probably a little bit thicker, I don't know if a VersaFine Clair or something like that would work in there. It might. But it would be pretty dark probably when applying, so you got to be a little bit careful about that. All right, let's do this. Let's go. Let's do a little bit of a bluish tinge. Maybe it's reflecting some of those colors of the sky. Yeah, I was looking forward to using these two in combination, Meg. I thought this dog, like, it's like it's waiting on, you know, the little bluff right here for his owner, companion. Yeah, see that little bluish tinge there? I don't know if you can see that. We're going for trying to make a, you know, semi-rich little color scheme like that. And hopefully that will pair with that sky up above, and it'll be going right down here. All right. I don't like that completely, though. Let's do this here. I think I need to soften up that area a little bit. Okay, so let me get my bearings here and see where this is going to go. I think I want this dog a little bit more over here. So let me... I'll just say from here over, I'll be using this portion right here. Okay, now I want to do a little bit of a, like a brushy edge over here. Okay, so maybe some leaves right in here would go right here. I just need some sort of softening transition into this water rather than that real sharp edge, okay? In concept. Okay, where did my stays on go? All right, let me get my bearings again. I don't want to put these leaves here. It's supposed to represent like a bush. I don't want to put them where it's going to cover my dog up, so, okay. Go about right here. This is a solid image, but it doesn't have a big, wide space. Oh, when I say big and wide, I guess like a 1/4 inch across is big enough where it just doesn't, you know, it kind of builds up a little bit. And just won't stamp out, so I don't know, I'll have to try something. I can probably, I don't know, I was thinking about taking a little piece of sandpaper and rubbing it in there before I stamp it out. I don't know if that would change it. It might help a little bit, I'm not sure. All right, so there that is like that. Let me go close my door over here. Okay, so these are right here, okay? And what I'm going to do is add some more right in here. And it won't look continuous or anything like that. Those bushes are supposed to be on the other side of that bluff maybe, but hopefully it'll pair up a little bit. And I don't know, I'll try to merge it a little bit. We'll just kind of fake it. Okay, I'm using stays on now, because I'm stamping over all that alcohol and wax on there, so we'll see how that goes. Hey, Meg, yeah, I read that right there. I hope you get better soon. Yeah, there's something going around. I was just out hiking with my friend yesterday, and he said his wife's getting over like some, like almost like pneumonia. I guess she's getting better, but he said that kind of lingered on for a while. All right, so we have that. Okay, I'm not going to cut out those leaves up top. We're just going to cut those right off, but having a little bit of this texture right in here, and the texture on the other side of this little bluff, hopefully will kind of work out. All right, now when I cut this out, I think I'll cut out this whole thing and I'll just have this flap going over. I'm not going to try to cut it right here because I'd rather get it applied on here and then I can just cut off this edge later on and make this edge really flush in here. Okay. All right, so while we have that stays on out too, right down in here, I think a really good kind of a textural transition from this lady in here to this outside area would be good with some of these tiny rock, small impression stamps. And it also, when you do something like that, when you show kind of textures in your water area, it represents kind of a shallower area. So, you know, this person isn't, standing in whatever, a super deep area. I'll try to go for a little bit of a stronger impression down here or right next to her. Okay, so first stamping, and then I go out and I transition that out in these other areas with a drier impression and thus a lighter impression, so you get multiple tones or values of those rocks like that. Okay, and see, having these out here reflecting, or not reflecting, but the clouds reflecting in there against that, it adds to that movement, because it's not just a mirrored thing. You have these impressions down here that move against the reflection of what's above like that. Okay. All right, so let's get to the cutting out of these figures here. I don't need this area down here, okay? So again, it's just a super easy trim here. It should be. As far as this process goes, I'm only going to do this for a process that's pretty easy to do. I don't know. I guess I maybe would, in some instances, cut out something a lot more intricate, depending on the potential payoff, I guess. But I want this most of my cards to be fairly, simple in terms of a process to do. Without too much tedium, I guess. And when you're cutting things out, whatever hand you are, the hand that's opposite is doing like most of the work. See, my hand that with the scissors, it's just barely moving. I'm just going on it, in and out. All right, so there's that. Do a little fine trimming if you need to. So this will go something like this right here. Okay. Like so. See that little white on there kind of stands out. I need to determine if that's like too much. Maybe. So what I'm going to do, just the easiest thing to do, is I'm just going to take a Sharpie marker because I got close enough. I don't need to get in there. I'm just going to, just black out that edge. And sometimes the edge shows a little bit, so I'm going to blacken out the edge of this, even though it's just a thin piece of cardstock right here. But that edge can get a little bit visually obtrusive right in there. So we'll just do that, and let's see. Let's get to her here, and I think I'll go down about like right there, maybe. And we'll merge her with the impression of her. I was looking to see if I had some sticker paper, and I thought I did some white sticker paper that I can stamp her on, just cut her out and use a sticker aspect, but I don't know. I couldn't find it. If I do have it, I'm not sure. So with this one, I'll just have to use just some glue, crafter's glue. All right, let's go. Let's see. I think I gave her a 90-degree angle head. Let it go in there like that. All right, let's do the same thing here. Yeah, maybe we'll just even black her out a little bit more too, the whole thing. Doesn't even look like the figure there, but I don't know. I think I cut it out okay. Now, I mean, it could be said, if this thing came out a little bit different, I might be able to just fill that in too. I don't know. I'm not sure what would be better. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It looks a little bit more solid. Let me see something. Let me see if I just fill this in with a Sharpie, how that would look. I'm not sure if it would look really smooth, but this is what I do in instances where I don't have to, you know, alter something too much. But this one is like the whole fill-in. I don't know, that looks okay, I guess. I'm almost coloring in, like, I don't know. It's like, almost like a coloring book, like filling in the whole space, though. I don't know, that looks okay, though, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to glue that down. The less, you know, less I have to do, the better. But let's get to this right here. Okay, let me alter this a little bit, too. I need to fine-tune this part. And I'm going to transition that dog there a little bit with a little bit more shadow. And we'll kind of enhance the shadows on here a little bit more. I guess it's making it a little bit more silhouette-y. Silhouette-ish. Are either of those a word? Doesn't sound like it. It is. Silhouette-like. All right, let's see here. Oh, sorry. What is that light color on there? There's a little bit of that Sharpie marker. That thing is like completely black right there. It's looking like it's white, but it isn't. Oh, I know what it's doing. You won't be able to see this, but just in case, it's capturing the the reflection of the other side of this dog. You don't need to do this because it'll be kind of glued down, but I just want to get rid of that so I can get a better idea of what I'm looking at. See, I had this down like this, but this dog was poking up a little bit. Right here. It almost looks like, okay, here we go, like that. I don't know if I like that color. That almost looks better like that. Meg, the dog is but a memory. She's out there thinking about her dog, and that was him, you know? I don't know, it didn't pair down there. I thought, yeah, it looks a little bit more contemplative or something like this. I like that dog on there, but I need to render it a little bit differently. I think in different tones. So we're changing up here, okay? So we got this right here. Yeah, there's a little bit of a different spirit. I haven't done this for a while, but like a word stamp right in here in white might be kind of interesting because it's dark enough to handle it right in here. Just as a card, though, alone like that, it looks pretty cool. I thought about these running horses in here too, or something like that. That would reflect down here, but the scale of it wasn't right. Then I thought about just stamping them right in here. I thought that might be kind of interesting too, but I'm not sure. Let me see. I wonder if there's some like word stamp that might be kind of interesting. Something kind of like narrow. This one's my night sky one. Nothing with these. I need to clean this piece off. It's collected a lot of dust. Let's see here. Follow the river and you will find the sea. I'm not sure here. Let me look at, I need to look at my sheets here. Let me see. Nothing too big. All right, let me see here. I can go for a single word stamp too, but it might have to be a little bit bolder to, oh, just clouds might be kind of interesting to say something like that. Silence. I don't know, oh, like a whole quote stamp might be a little bit more poignant though. Let's look at this one right here. Look deep into nature and you will find, you will understand everything better. It seems to fit the, it seems to fit the thing because it's someone gazing out somewhere. Where is it right here? Oh, it's on my color it green with trees one. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Okay, let me see here. Sorry, folks. There's a ton of there's a ton of word stamps on these scenic sentiment sheets. I really packed them in, so it's like I always have to look at my guide here to find these things. Okay, let's see. All right. Let me see if it fits, though. The quote seems... I like the quote for this, but I need to see if it... if the font and this size right here is effective from a... whatever, spatial perspective. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to be stamping this out in I'm trying to get this straight here, in the Brilliance White, okay? And if it doesn't stamp out really well, or if I don't like it, it'll just wipe right off, okay? Even after it dries, you can wipe it off, but I'll have to spray seal it a little bit after it's set, just to lock it down. So the Brilliance White, for those that don't know, it's a water-based pigment ink, and it's also designed to be a fast-drying one. And therefore, it dries on here, but it doesn't necessarily adhere to it. So you spray it off, and it should be cool. Or it is. It locks it down, and it's water-based, so the spray sealant. If you spray that on an oil-based white pigment ink, if you sprayed it too thickly, it would start to put the oil-based ink back into solution, okay, and it would spread out, but the water-based one, it doesn't affect. It does make the surface a little bit less mirrored, though, so you don't want to do it too thickly, otherwise it'll kind of frost out the silver, and it won't be quite as mirrored, okay? So let's, just give this a shot. I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool as is, but I just want to, I don't know. I've been wanting to do like a quote stamp on a mirrored surface for a while, so this is like a, I don't know, whatever response to that. I've been thinking about that. I really like the look of text in white. As long as it's nice and dark up here and reflecting dark down here, I can read it. Okay. It makes it look like the text to me looks like it's floating on the surface of water because you get those reflections kind of shining on behind it. I guess you might be able to do something if you do embossing or something like that. You can probably emboss. I guess you can emboss all these things on here onto silver. When you do that on foil, so just don't keep the heat on there for too long, otherwise you might get a lot of curling or potential like delamination. Okay, let's see. I should really do a test print of this first, just to see, just to get my bearings on there. Make sure I get a really even coating of this. I guess if you're using a stamp positioner too, that would be easy. Small text like that, don't over ink it because you'll fill in the spaces of the especially the lowercase fonts. Okay, let me get my bearings again. Right here. I think I can come right in here. Forgive my head here. Okay, let's see if we can get it nice and straight, or straight enough, I should say. If I'm a little bit skewed, I usually don't bother redoing it. I just don't want to be off by like, I don't know, whatever, 15 degrees from the left side to the right. I'm holding this down, allowing the ink to transfer a little bit more. I'm kind of being careful not to press too hard though. Just adequate pressure, like standard stamping pressure. Don't like push down extra hard thinking it'll transfer better, because it doesn't. What it does is it pushes down into the surface of the card, and then when you lift it up, there's that blank spot in the middle of the image, in this case, word stamp. And again, it's because the ink isn't absorbing into the paper at all. It's just squeezing out on the surface. So just adequate pressure and then lift up. Yeah, great. And it's a fast drying ink, but it's not like StazOn where it dries like super fast. So it just kind of sets up a little bit. Like if I wipe right through there, it would be wet. But so even pressure like that. But so like that, it really stands out weird like that. But look at this right here. You get that text across there. It makes it a real kind of graphic image like that. Look into nature and you will understand everything better. Albert Einstein, like that. Look at that right there. Isn't that fun? This is kind of fun right here. I just noticed here, those birds right up here are kind of reflecting down here in these little rock areas like that. So you can go buy this card at that store in the mall called Successories. Anyone remember Successories, like in the mid 90s? Those kind of inspirational posters. It usually have some kind of picture of something in nature, or people doing something, striving, and it would have some kind of inspirational quote next to it. But that's what this kind of reminds me of. People would put it up in their, their offices and things like that. But there we go. It's kind of weird. This is like really reflecting a ton of light. You wouldn't normally wouldn't have that glare up there. Let me see if I can get that glare out of there. Oh, there we go. Remember, my lights in my studio are really super bright, so find a good angle. Here we go. that. Can't get it here. Again, trying to get that super bright light out of the mix here. All right, kind of like that. No. Boy, this was okay. So when you're photographing these, if you're doing these types of cards, you know, for posting and whatever, Facebook or anything like that, I hold my card up like this, okay, and you know I just have my hand in the card and I'll photograph it like that, okay, because you can find the angle. Like there's a little bit too much, and you know, so you turn it like that, and you know, it's just a better. I should just hold this for you guys right here. Okay, there it is right there. Kind of. I'm getting the glare up right there, though. It's fun opening up a card like this, though. They're really kind of three-dimensional. And then see that like text like that? Isn't that fun? And it's like even more so when you see this kind of in motion like that. You know, it really looks like that text is just kind of floating out in space like that. Remember, if it's really light up here, like white, you know, you have something like that, and it's reflecting down here, you don't want to go with the white against that because it's like white against white, and it doesn't read. But see, this is like dark enough in here. You know, there's a little bit of some white reflecting down here, but it's not so much that it kind of obscures the, you know, whatever, the legibility, readability of the text. Okay. And you can do like text that's bolder too. Like maybe there is some white up here that's reflecting down here. You can go with a bolder text, but this one is like a, you know, upper lowercase type of text, and the font is fairly small, so I needed it to be reasonably dark right up here, and thus reflecting down in that section. All right, let's see. Oh, thanks, Linda. Yeah, so yeah, Linda, you might have noticed, but I put a note up on the group, the Facebook group, that I did add some more clouds into that. Oh, those ones, yeah. So the clouds in there, they're really high contrast, a lot of super white clouds against a really deep blue, you know, intense sky. I said it would be good for vellum usages, but it would be really good for reflection cards like this too. So anyway, yeah. So anyways, yeah. So I really changed up right here with this figure. I just filled in, and that worked out pretty good. She does have a little bit of haloing around her, looking at her in person, but it's not. Oops, it's not so bad. Haloing meaning when I stamped it out, it was like a little bit of a like this edge around her. I don't know, maybe where I was pressing down. And again, that ink isn't adhering into that paper. So, you know, just do a couple test prints of things like that if you're ever uncertain about how easy or difficult it will be to get a full impression of something. And then, you know, we have our best friend, you know, the permanent marker for any kind of thing that doesn't stamp out, or you just, like I said, you just stamp it out on a separate piece of paper and just glue it down, and it should work. I just don't want to do like a lot of super tedious types of cutting. Usually, I don't know, on something like this, it might be pretty cool. You know, having some horses up here, something like that, to be reflecting down below. I might have to do that. I think I did it on something else, didn't I, recently? But I don't know. Fun way to go. I'm glad I got in that quote stamp in there too, because I really like that look of it. All right, folks. Just a I don't know, semi-quick card here. Was it 39 minutes into it? And I was kind of fumbling around, kind of thinking about doing some other things too. So this is card in theory. You know, if you have that kind of the card base and the foil just kind of glued in there, this card like this, you can mass produce these types of things too, somewhat, and you know, half an hour or something like that, and that should do it in terms of the process. Hello, Jeannie. How are you? All right. That's, I don't know, whatever, card number one for the day. I might come on here later on. There's all kinds of other things that I want to experiment with. I mean, this is going to be never ending. You know, one of the things for sure was the tents on this new set right here. I want to stamp those out on glow-in-the-dark sticker paper and then cut those out and then have these interior illuminated tents, you know, at nighttime, glowing in the dark. Yeah, maybe I'll do that one. And I have one more full moon. Yeah, they'll be under a full moon or something like that. I mean, it could be a really fast card. I wonder what it would look like if we put those tents on like uh, black paper and just glued them down like that. Or we could stamp some trees maybe in white around it or something like that. I don't know. Different things to test out here. Hello, Willie Nick. How are you? To see you, inky hands. Bye. So, anyways, reflection cards. If you haven't done these before, I always say this on these videos right here. If you haven't tried a reflection card yet, and then photo stamping, you know, this made it for a really quick application right here. But look at this right here. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 stamps right here, just stamped on the silver. Didn't do anything up here. And you just kind of put those together. Imagery stamped down here in the stays on ink. Okay, don't do a VersaFine Clair or like a dye-based ink. It's just not going to stick to it. This one right here was the water-based white Brilliance ink. Okay, but those will really create a potential for a really easy process right here. And you know, you can have all kinds of things up here. This would be really awesome with a, you know, whatever, a sky image or a sunset, anything you want up here would be really cool. Bolt of lightning, something like that. And you can download a bunch of these photos, but all of my photos are free for download on my Flickr or page or in the Facebook Stampscapes group. Okay, not the Stampscapes page, but the Stampscapes group. Under media, and then you click on media, the media tab, and then the albums tab within media, and then there's a bunch of albums in there, and a bunch of my photographs are on there. If people are on there, and you can download them and print them out for free. You know, if you have a inkjet printer or something like that. And yeah, but one of the things that are really fun to do is if you take your own photos, you know, too, and it may, like, kind of personalizes the entire photo stamping process. All right, thanks for checking it out. Hope to see you on the next Stampscapes Live. Like I said, I might jump on here later on tonight sometime too, so we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, a lot of other tests to do. I really love this little figure right here on the cardstock like that. It looks very contemplative. Or whatever, dreamy. All right, folks, thanks again.